We have discussed extensively the phenomenon of MAGA Republicans, especially in the House of Representatives, using stunts to distract from the fact that they're not actually accomplishing things for the American people and materially benefiting the lives of even their own constituents. And so we see this when they do hearing after hearing about Biden and the supposed crimes that don't exist, but they keep accusing him of. And then we see it with Twitter files hearing, or with the letters that Jim Jordan will write to different enemies of Trump prosecutors saying, we're going to hold you accountable if you keep doing something wrong with Trump. And I know that MAGA likes that stuff, at least momentarily. I know that people like Maria Bartiromo, who's in the clip I'm about to play for you, loves bringing on Jim Jordan, James Comer, and others to talk about the Biden crime family and to enable and bolster some of these talking points, however dishonest they are. But even someone like Maria Bartiromo, or even these MAGA voters, are they ever going to wonder, has anything come of this? Okay, cool. We heard 13 billion allegations against Biden. Did anything actually come of it? Because the impeachment effort started to crumble. And so even if we don't find the premise of these investigations to be legitimate, I'm still curious, if you were to think this were legitimate, would you be upset that nothing's coming of this stuff? And it seems like MAGA Fox News host Maria Bartiromo is experiencing that feeling. She is fed up that these MAGA leaders like Jim Jordan, who you're about to watch her confront, are making a lot of bold proclamations. We're going to hold accountable the prosecutors going after Trump because of it, because of it being this big witch hunt. But then nothing really comes of it. Same thing with the Biden impeachment effort. And you see this reporting. People are sick and tired. Jim Jordan sputters after Maria Bartiromo calls him out for congressional investigations that go nowhere. So take a look at this. You'll notice Jim Jordan does his sort of glitch out thing where he just starts talking really fast and saying a bunch of mumbo jumbo, which I think shows he's nervous having to answer this question.
Well, look, I mean, at this point, American citizens are asking, what can you do about it? I mean, look, with all due respect, people are sick and tired of congressional investigations that go nowhere. People are sick and tired of letters being written and sent to the people who we know are bad in the first place. They want you to do something about it. You're an elected official. What can you do to right these wrongs?
Well, we've passed legislation out of the committee that would help remedy this situation, particularly the one in New York. But the president or vice president can move a case to federal court from when you do these state prosecutors who are going after someone for a political reason. So we're a legislative branch. We can't put anyone in jail. And I don't think the Biden administration, their DOJ is going to go after the people who need to go after. You're just not going to get.
Take a breath, Jim.
Get that from Merrick Garland. I mean, I asked the question a couple weeks ago. We don't know from the Biden administration who planted the pipe bombs on January 6th, who leaked the Dobbs draft opinion, the one that led to an assassination attempt on Justice Kavanaugh, who put cocaine in the White House. We don't seem to get the answers to those questions. But, you can have someone from the Biden Justice Department like Jack Smith go after President Trump. You can have the DOJ say we're going to investigate parents who show up at school board meetings. You can have the Richmond FBI say,
okay. How does this answer the question that was asked? Also, did he really bring up the school board? Or we're still doing the school board dishonest talking point? Parents weren't investigated for going to school board meetings and expressing their views. Individuals were investigated for making violent threats against school board members.
If you're a pro-life Catholic, you're an extremist. So they got time for all that, but they can't answer some fundamental questions that I think the American people would like to get answers to.
Well,
our job is to get the facts out there and to look at legislation. We can't prosecute anyone, only the DOJ can. And frankly, the Biden DOJ is just not going to do it.
So the answer there, I guess, is nothing. We can't do anything. None of this is going to lead to anything. But by the way, he keeps referring to Jack Smith as a Biden DOJ prosecutor. Let me put it this way. If you think that federal laws should be enforced, then someone who in a general sense is under the administration is going to have to enforce those laws. But we have gaps of separation on purpose where Biden is not involving himself in the DOJ. And even beyond that, special counsel was selected to get it away from even the Biden appointee, Merrick Garland, to manage this investigation. But unless you think federal laws just shouldn't be enforced, then that is a silly way to frame the argument. before going further, I do just want to say that this little intro to the article talking about this clip was interesting. With the House Oversight Committee's impeachment going so poorly for Republicans that even Chairman James Comer is reportedly looking for an off-ramp, a GOP congressional leader was called out Sunday by Fox News anchor Maria Bartiromo, and that's the clip we just watched. But what's being referenced there is some reporting from CNN that is as follows. Comer is hoping Jesus comes so he can get out. One of the GOP lawmakers who spoke to Comer told CNN he is fed up. And this is talking about his baby, his wonderful Biden impeachment probe that initially they had these big, bold proclamations and allegations to levy against Biden. And so surely, because Biden's such a criminal, they're going to impeach him and it's going to be an easy vote. Now, because shockingly, you need evidence to make such claims against a sitting president. And because, let's be honest, after all these investigations, Biden just didn't engage in corruption in his career and public life. And no matter how much they wish they could get something on him, they can't. And so even in a majority Republican House of Representatives, they can't get an impeachment vote that would go well for them. And so now James Comer is hoping that Jesus will come down to save him because he sucked. Because now Maria Bartiromo and MAGA is going to be having this question about these efforts. You've been coming on for months, really milking the Fox News platform, pushing these ideas that are so huge that surely, as people in positions of power, you'll be able to get some accountability on. But see, and we'll get into this more after a reference clip I want to show you, but when you are lying initially, when your premise is faulty, then it's going to be hard to get the conclusion that you want to get on these different stunts. Now, his nervousness there, Maria, something about the pipe bomber. It reminded me of this, an iconic clip where Jim Jordan gets asked if he talked to Donald Trump on January 6th. And I've played it for you before, but this is just one of the most glitchy, nervous, frantic Jim Jordans I've ever seen.
Did you speak with President Trump on January 6th?
Yeah, I spoke with the president last week. I speak with the president all the time. I spoke with him on January 6th. I talk with President Trump all the time, and that's I don't think that's unusual. I would expect members of Congress to talk with the president of the United States when they're trying to get done the things they told the voters in their district to do.
I'm sorry. Every time I hear that, try to get done the things they told their voters to do. Jim.
When they're trying to get done the things they told the voters in their district to do. I'm actually kind of amazed sometimes that people keep asking this. But of course, I talk to the president all the time. I talked with him, like I said, I talked with him last week.
Okay, so I would love to see a detective sit down across the table in an interrogation room with Jim Jordan and interrogate him about this, because he just crumbles so fast. The interviewer wasn't even hostile, and Jim Jordan just starts going crazy. And a few different things. I feel like the first thing you learn about what comes off bad whenever you're a suspect, right? Sticking with him with a detective, is don't randomly raise the octave of your voice. I talk to him all the time. What's the big deal? Don't start by answering a different question than was asked. Did you talk to Trump on January 6th? I talked to him last week. And don't talk very quickly, then realize you're talking very quickly and randomly slow down. I talk to him all the time. I talk to him on Friday. And that's what you're going to do. Just a very strange moment. But he was giving very similar vibes in the Maria Bartiromo interview, which gives me the sense that he feels sort of caught red-handed, which is she's getting really close to almost exposing the whole scam, but she's a part of that scam, so she probably doesn't want to do that, which is if you can keep your voters focused on and angry about the stunts that you're pulling based on lies about the opposition, then you don't really have to worry so much about implementing meaningful policy to improve their lives. Whereas Democrats seem to be more concerned with actually improving their voters' lives so they can get reelected. That's why the infrastructure law, the Inflation Reduction Act, the Chips and Science Act, etc., are majority supported by Democrats. And that's the stuff that they are going on to run on. Republicans are constantly running on things that have nothing to do with policy, that are more based on these stunts, ridiculous investigations, and getting justice for the wrongdoing being done onto Trump again the myth of it. And I say that Maria Bartiromo is a part of this because I was sort of watching and thinking, Maria, you're sort of, from your perspective, messing up here, because you're revealing the fact that they're not going to get the outcome you want, because to get that outcome, they would have to have something. Trump would have to actually be the one being wronged here. Joe Biden would actually have to be this corrupt individual they pretend like he is for you to get the type of justice and the outcome that you think that you're wanting. But Maria Bartiromo, I guess I shouldn't give her advice on how to be dishonest in this situation, but it's in her interest to continue going through this cycle and pretending like Fox News is covering something very serious when it comes to the Biden impeachment, or we're going to keep covering how Trump is just the biggest victim in the world, and ever asking the question of why doesn't this ever lead to something significant, material, meaningful, actually gets you one step closer to understanding the ridiculous scam that's going on. And so to Republican voters, please realize that you don't have to think that you like liberals to look at the difference in policy records, the long list of policy achievements that were able to be implemented under the Democratic majorities. And now that Republicans have a majority in the House, that's just come to a complete and total stop. And instead, they're trying to distract with stuff like that. Let me know what you thought of all that in the comments.